3 years. That's how long I'd been swinging hammers and pouring concrete, building what I genuinely believed would last forever. Wesley Brooks, construction foreman at Phoenix's biggest commercial site, pulling 65 grand annually, while the desert sun baked everything into submission and the real estate market moved faster than a jackhammer on overtime. The house sat in Ahwatukee, one of those cookie-cutter communities where every lawn looks identical, and the HOA sends passive-aggressive letters about mailbox heights. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,800 square feet of what I'd stupidly thought was our foundation. Brooke and I had signed those mortgage papers 2 years back, her part-time yoga instructor income barely covering groceries while I handled the $2,200 monthly payment like just another job site expense. She taught evening classes at her sister Riley's downtown studio, pulling $18 an hour for 20 hours a week when she felt motivated enough to show up. Had this essential oils side hustle that moved about as much product as a broken conveyor belt. The math was brutally simple. Her $18,700 annually versus my steady paycheck keeping us afloat in a neighborhood where Preston Kane, her corporate lawyer ex-boyfriend, wouldn't look completely out of place cruising around in his BMW. Last Tuesday evening, I dragged myself home from a foundation pour that had stretched past sunset, concrete dust coating my work boots and that familiar ache settling into my shoulders that comes from 10 hours of honest labor. Found Brooke sprawled across our sectional couch, phone practically welded to her ear, but something felt different this time. The way she ended that call the second she heard my keys jingling, the way she clutched that phone against her chest like it contained nuclear launch codes. "How was work?" she asked, suddenly fascinated by our coffee table's wood grain pattern. "Foundation's set clean, should cure solid by Friday." I grabbed a Coors from the fridge and dropped into my recliner, the one piece of furniture in this place that had actually belonged to me before we'd merged our lives together. "Who was keeping you busy on the phone?" The pause stretched longer than a concrete truck getting stuck in Phoenix traffic. "Just Riley. Studio stuff." Riley. Her sister who owned the yoga place where Brooke pretended to have a career. I'd overheard Brooke talking to Riley plenty of times before. This definitely wasn't Riley's voice I'd caught fragments of through the front door. "Studio stuff at 8:30 at night," I repeated, taking a long pull from the beer bottle. "She's thinking about expanding. Adding a meditation room." The words tumbled out rehearsed, like she'd been practicing this conversation with her bathroom mirror. I nodded and flicked on SportsCenter, but my attention wasn't tracking batting averages. Something fundamental had shifted in our house's atmosphere, that kind of pressure change you feel right before a monsoon rolls through the valley. The air gets heavy, charged with electricity that makes your skin crawl, and smart people start battening down for the storm that's coming. Thursday night rolled around and she was late coming home from her 6 o'clock class. Didn't waltz through that front door until nearly 10, cheeks flushed and eyes bright in a way I hadn't witnessed in months. She moved around our kitchen with this energy, this weightless quality, like she was floating instead of walking on solid ground. "Good class tonight?" I asked from the couch, watching her reflection in the microwave door. "Amazing, really connected with the students." She grabbed a water bottle from the fridge, twisted it open, and I studied her reflection more carefully. She was smiling at absolutely nothing, that kind of private smile that doesn't belong to the person standing right in front of you. Must have been some serious connection. Her eyes found mine in that reflection, caught something sharp in my tone. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing dramatic, just nice seeing you happy for once. She turned around then, leaned against the counter and studied my face like she was reading construction blueprints. "I am happy." "Good. That's good." But it wasn't good, and we both knew it perfectly well. Happy people don't sneak phone calls like teenagers hiding from their parents. Happy people don't come home from teaching yoga looking like they just discovered electricity. Happy people don't start taking extra care with their appearance for Tuesday evening classes that used to be just another paycheck. Friday afternoon, my crew was wrapping up steel placement on the 3rd floor when Shane Miller, my best concrete guy, climbed up from the parking area wearing that expression guys get when they're carrying bad news they'd rather not deliver. "Hey Wes, you got a minute?" I set down my clipboard and followed him to the floor's edge, where we could see the entire Phoenix skyline spreading out like a circuit board under the desert sun. Camelback Mountain squatted in the distance, that familiar hump of rock that had become as much part of my daily view as my own reflection. "What's eating you?" Shane pulled out his phone, swiped to something, handed it over without saying a word. There was Brooke, sitting at some upscale coffee place I didn't recognize, laughing across a small table from Preston Kane. His arms stretched across the back of her chair, fingers almost but not quite touching her shoulder. The timestamp showed 11:30 this morning. "My girlfriend works at that Starbucks on Central," Shane said quietly. "Sent me this about an hour ago. Thought you should know." I stared at that photo longer than necessary. Preston looked exactly like he had 3 years ago when Brooke was still trying to get over their breakup. Expensive suit, perfectly styled hair, that confident smile that comes from never worrying about mortgage payments or whether your truck would pass inspection. "How long were they there?" I asked. "According to Melissa, about 2 hours. Real cozy conversation." I handed the phone back and looked out at the city again. From up here, all those suburban neighborhoods looked like Monopoly pieces scattered across a board game. Little houses with little people living little lives, most of them probably having some version of this exact conversation right about now. "You okay, man?" Yeah, I'm good." And strangely enough, I was. That sick knot of anxiety and suspicion I'd been carrying around all week had crystallized into something cleaner, something I could actually work with. "You want to knock off early? Get home and handle this situation?" "No. Let's finish this pour. Steel inspections Monday morning and I want everything ready." Shane nodded and we got back to work, but my mind was already 3 moves ahead, running calculations that had absolutely nothing to do with concrete tensile strength. The Phoenix real estate market was on fire. Our neighborhood had appreciated nearly 20% in the last 18 months. Houses were selling within days of listing, often over asking price. I drove home that evening taking the long way, past strip malls and chain restaurants that make up the arteries of suburban life. Stopped at a red light and watched a young couple walking into an olive garden, her hand tucked into the crook of his elbow, both of them laughing about something private and perfect. 3 years ago, that had been Brooke and me. She was standing in our kitchen when I walked in, stirring something that smelled like the Thai takeout place we used to visit when we were still pretending to be adventurous with our date nights. "How was work?" she asked. The same question she'd been asking for 3 years, but now it sounded different, obligatory, like asking someone about their weekend when you'd already stopped listening before they answered. "Good, productive." I washed my hands at the kitchen sink, watched her reflection in the window above the faucet. "How was your day?" "Quiet. Did some cleaning, worked on inventory for the essential oils thing." No mention of coffee dates with corporate lawyers, no mention of 2-hour conversations at trendy cafes, just essential oils that nobody wanted to buy and cleaning that I couldn't see any evidence of. "Riley need any help with that studio expansion?" The wooden spoon paused in her hand for just a fraction of a second. "What expansion?" "The meditation room thing, you mentioned it Tuesday night." "Oh, right, that's still in the planning stages." I nodded and grabbed 2 plates from the cabinet, set them on the counter next to the takeout containers. We ate dinner in what used to feel like comfortable silence, but now just felt empty. She scrolled through her phone between bites, thumb moving in that endless dance of social media consumption, but I caught her pausing on certain messages, reading them twice before moving on. After dinner, she disappeared into the bathroom for what she called her evening routine, but which had recently expanded from 15 minutes to nearly an hour. I cleaned up the kitchen, loaded the dishwasher, and found myself standing in our living room looking around at all the things we'd accumulated together. The sectional couch we'd spent 3 weekends shopping for, the entertainment center that had taken me an entire Saturday to assemble, the framed photos of us at various stages of relationship development, smiling at cameras held by strangers who'd captured what we thought was going to be forever. My phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number, but the area code was local. "This is Dustin Parker with Desert Winds Realty. Shane Miller gave me your contact info. He said you might be interested in a market evaluation on your property. Current market conditions are very favorable for sellers. Would love to discuss your options." I stared at that message for a long time. Shane, who'd shown me the photo of my wife having intimate coffee conversations with her ex-boyfriend, had taken it upon himself to connect me with a realtor. "Good friend, smart friend." I typed back, "Available to meet this weekend. Saturday morning work for you?" The response came within minutes. "Absolutely." "How about 10 a.m. at your place? I'll bring comps and current market analysis." "See you then." I deleted the conversation and slipped the phone back into my pocket just as Brooke emerged from the bathroom, face glowing with whatever expensive serum she'd been applying. She'd started wearing different pajamas lately, silk ones I didn't remember buying, in colors that made her skin look luminous under our bedroom lighting. "Who was texting?" she asked, settling into bed next to me. "Work stuff. Weekend project might be coming up." She nodded, already reaching for her phone to scroll through whatever digital world was more interesting than the physical one we supposedly shared. I watched her thumbs move across the screen, pausing occasionally to smile at something I couldn't see, and realized I'd been living with a stranger for months without noticing exactly when the transition had happened. Saturday morning arrived with that brilliant desert sunshine that makes Phoenix feel like the edge of the world. Dustin Parker showed up at exactly 10 a.m. in a pristine white BMW, the kind of car that screamed success in the same language Preston Kane's wardrobe spoke. He was younger than I'd expected, maybe early 30s, with the aggressive enthusiasm that comes from selling houses in a market where buyers outnumber listings 3-1. "Wesley Brooks?" He extended a hand and a business card simultaneously. "Dustin Parker, Desert Winds Realty. Shane says you're thinking about making a move." Brooke had left early for what she claimed was a special Saturday morning yoga session, something about helping newer instructors with their form. I'd watched her drive away in her Toyota Camry, noting how she'd spent more time on her appearance for teaching yoga than she used to spend for our anniversary dinners. "Come on in, want some coffee?" "I'd love some." We settled at the kitchen table with 2 mugs of coffee and a folder full of documents that Dustin spread out like he was planning a military campaign. "Your neighborhood is absolutely on fire right now," he said, pointing to a spreadsheet covered in numbers that made my pulse quicken. "Similar properties to yours are selling 15 to 20% over asking, often within the first week of listing." "What's similar to mine?" He pulled out a stack of photos. "This one, 3 streets over, sold last month. 22 days on market, sold for $408,000. Same floor plan as yours, actually smaller lot." I looked at the number he'd written at the bottom of the page. Our house, which we'd bought for $320,000 2 years ago, was now worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000, maybe more. How quickly could we get it listed? We could have photos taken Monday, listing go live by Wednesday. In this market, I'd expect showings to start immediately. I leaned back in my chair and studied this kid who was promising to turn my marital problems into a 6-figure windfall. What about staging, repairs, all that stuff you see on TV? "Honestly, your place is move-in ready. Fresh paint, good landscaping, updated appliances. Maybe clear out some personal items to help buyers envision themselves here, but that's about it." "And you think 400,000 is realistic?" "I think 400,000 is conservative. I'd list it at 415 and see what happens." We talked details for another hour, commission structure, timeline, what he'd need from me to get the ball rolling. The whole conversation felt surreal, like discussing the amputation of a limb that had gone gangrenous. Necessary, but not something you ever imagined having to do. "One question," I said as he was packing up his materials. "How discreet can this process be? I'd prefer to keep things quiet until everything's finalized." Dustin's expression shifted, became more professional, less enthusiastic. He'd clearly handled divorces before. "Absolutely. We can schedule showings around your schedule, keep signage minimal until you're ready to go public, whatever you need." "Good. Let's do it." We shook hands and I signed preliminary paperwork that would change everything, though I was probably the only one who understood that yet. After he left, I sat in my empty house and listened to the silence that had replaced what used to be comfortable companionship. My phone rang around noon. Brooke. "Hey, babe. How was your morning?" "Quiet. Got some stuff done around the house." Not technically a lie, I had gotten stuff done. "Good. Listen, I'm going to grab lunch with Riley after the session, might be a couple hours." "Sure, take your time. Love you." "You too." I hung up and realized she'd gotten into the habit of telling me she loved me right before she went off to do things that proved she didn't. The lunch with Riley would probably be another coffee date with Preston, or maybe they'd graduated to actual restaurants by now. Sunday evening, Brooke came home from her regular 6 o'clock class looking like she'd been plugged into an electrical socket. Eyes bright, cheeks flushed, that same mysterious energy that had been building all week. She moved through our evening routine like she was performing in a play about domestic contentment while her real life was happening somewhere else. "How was class?" I asked during a commercial break. "Incredible. Really incredible." She was curled up on her end of the sectional, but she might as well have been on another planet. There's something about connecting with people, really connecting. It makes you feel so alive. The word hung in the air between us like a challenge, alive, as opposed to what we'd been doing here, apparently. "That's great," I said. "It's nice to have something that makes you feel that way." She looked over at me then. Really looked. Like she was seeing me for the first time in months. "Wesley, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you ever feel like we're just going through the motions? Like we're alive but not really living?" The question hit different than it would have a week ago, before Shane's girlfriend had taken that photo. Before Dustin Parker had spread those real estate comps across my kitchen table. "What do you mean?" "I mean, don't you ever want more? Don't you ever want to feel truly alive again?" I set down the remote and turned to face her fully. "Are you asking me, or are you telling me something?" Her eyes widened slightly. She hadn't expected directness. "I'm asking because it sounds like you might have already found your answer to that question." The silence stretched long enough for me to count her heartbeats and the pulse visible at her throat. Finally, she looked away. "Preston and I have been talking." There it was. Simple, clean, honest. No more pretending we didn't both know exactly what had been happening. Talking about what? About everything. About choices we made. About what we gave up. She was looking at her hands now, fingers twisted together in her lap. "He makes me feel alive again, Wesley, the way I used to feel before everything became so routine." I nodded slowly, processing this confession that wasn't really a confession since we'd both known it was coming. "And I just exist." "That's not what I meant." "But it's what you said. Preston makes you feel alive. I make you feel like you're going through the motions." She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. Truth has a way of settling into silence like concrete finding its level. "What do you want me to say?" I asked. "I don't know. I guess I want you to fight for this. For us." "Fight for what, exactly? Fight to convince you that routine love is better than exciting love? Fight to make you settle for feeling half alive? It doesn't have to be settling, doesn't it? Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds like you've already decided what alive feels like, and it's not this." She started crying then, but they weren't the tears of someone who'd made a mistake. They were the tears of someone who'd finally told the truth and discovered it was more complicated than she'd expected. "I do love you," she said through the tears. "I know you do, but you love him more, or at least you love how he makes you feel more." "That's not fair." "It's not about fair, it's about honest." I stood up and walked to the window that looked out over our neighborhood, all those identical houses with their identical problems and identical solutions. Somewhere out there, other couples were having this exact conversation. Other people were discovering that love wasn't always enough, that feeling alive mattered more than feeling secure. Monday morning, I woke up before my alarm and found Brooke already gone. No note, no text message, just the absence of her Toyota in the driveway and the lingering scent of expensive perfume she'd started wearing to yoga classes. I called in sick to work for the first time in 8 months and spent the day methodically going through our shared life, separating what was mine from what was ours from what was hers. It was easier than I'd expected. Most of the important stuff had always been functionally mine anyway. The mortgage, the utilities, the insurance payments. Dustin Parker called around noon. "Photos are scheduled for tomorrow morning at 10. Can you make sure the house is staging ready?" "It will be." "Great. And Wesley, I've got 3 buyers already asking about properties in your neighborhood. Soon as we go live, I expect immediate activity." "How immediate?" "Showings by Thursday, offers by the weekend, maybe sooner." "Perfect." Tuesday morning, I watched professional photographers transform our house into a marketing opportunity, taking pictures that would make strangers fall in love with the life Brooke and I had built and were about to demolish. Brooke came home during the lunch break between photo sessions and found me sitting at the kitchen table with a stack of real estate documents. "What's all this?" she asked, but her voice suggested she already knew. "We're selling the house." She sank into the chair across from me, still wearing her yoga clothes, hair pulled back in that messy bun she'd started wearing since reconnecting with Preston. "We haven't even talked about what's going to happen." You talked. You told me Preston makes you feel alive, and I don't. That's really all the talking we needed to do. But selling the house? That seems so extreme. Brooke, this house costs $2,200 a month. Your income is maybe $1,500 after taxes on a good month. You can't afford it without me. I could get more hours at the studio, grow the essential oils business. I pulled out the calculator I'd been using to run numbers all morning. Even if Riley gave you full-time hours at $18 each, you'd gross about $37,000 a year. After taxes, health insurance, and basic living expenses, you'd be lucky to clear $1,200 a month for housing. This mortgage is $2,200 plus another $300 for utilities, insurance, and HOA fees. She stared at the numbers like they might rearrange themselves into something more manageable. The house is worth over $400,000 now, I continued. After paying off the mortgage and covering selling costs, we'll walk away with about $80,000 profit. Your half would be $40,000. My half? Unless you want to buy me out and keep the house. She was quiet for a long time, probably running the same calculations I'd been running for 3 days. The math didn't work. It never had worked without me carrying the financial load. Where will I go? That's up to you, but you've got $40,000 to figure it out. Most people don't get that kind of head start on their new life. And where will you go? I'd been thinking about that question since Shane had handed me his phone and shown me proof of what I'd already suspected. Phoenix was good for construction, but it wasn't the only game. Denver had opportunities. Seattle was building like crazy. I haven't decided yet. You're just going to leave? After 3 years? You already left, Brooke. You just haven't moved out yet. Wednesday morning, our house appeared on every real estate website in Phoenix with photos that made it look like a magazine spread. By noon, Dustin had fielded 17 inquiries and scheduled 6 showings. By Thursday evening, we had 2 offers, both over asking price. I accepted an offer of $425,000 from a young couple who toured the house Thursday afternoon and put in their bid before they'd even made it back to their car. They reminded me of Brooke and me 3 years ago, excited, optimistic, convinced they were building something that would last forever. The house sold on a Friday afternoon in April, with temperatures already pushing toward the triple digits that would define Phoenix summer. Dustin Parker handed me a check that represented 3 years of mortgage payments and the accumulated equity of a housing market that had decided our neighborhood was worth more than we'd paid for it. Brooke and I split everything with the kind of methodical fairness that comes from wanting to finish something cleanly rather than drag it out into lawyers and arguments. She took her car, her clothes, her yoga equipment, and her half of our modest savings account. I took my truck, my tools, and a U-Haul full of furniture I probably should have left behind. Keep in touch? She asked as I loaded the last box into the truck. Maybe, after some time. I hope you find what you're looking for in Denver. I hope you find what you're looking for here. We hugged goodbye in the driveway of the house that used to be ours, and I drove away without looking back. In the rearview mirror, I could see her standing there in the late afternoon sun, surrounded by the moving boxes that contained everything she'd decided was worth keeping from our shared life. I made it as far as Flagstaff before I stopped for the night, checked into a motel that was clean enough and cheap enough and completely anonymous, sat on the edge of a bed that belonged to no one and called Shane. "How'd it go?" he asked. "House closed, check cleared, I'm officially homeless." "And how do you feel about that?" I looked around the generic motel room at the landscape painting that could have been anywhere in the American West, at the television that was probably showing the same programs in every motel room from Phoenix to Denver. "Free," I said, and meant it. I feel free. "Good man, that's good." "Shane, thanks for the photo, and for calling Dustin. What are friends for? Most friends would have minded their own business. Most friends don't care as much about seeing you happy." I hung up and ordered pizza from a place that delivered to motel rooms, ate it while watching baseball on a television that had probably never been adjusted to anyone's preferences. For the first time in months, I wasn't wondering what Brooke was thinking, wasn't calculating how to make someone else happy, wasn't measuring myself against Preston Kane's corporate lawyer salary and BMW payments. I was just Wesley Brooks, construction foreman, driving toward Denver, and a job that would let me build something new instead of maintaining something that had already crumbled. The next morning, I loaded my truck and finished the drive through mountains that made Phoenix's desert landscapes look small and finite. Denver spread out in front of me like a blueprint for a life I hadn't written yet, full of possibilities that had nothing to do with keeping someone else alive and everything to do with staying alive myself. 3 months later, I was running a crew of 12 guys on a 40-story office tower that would reshape Denver's skyline for the next 50 years. Good work, honest work, work that paid enough for me to afford a downtown apartment where I could walk to restaurants and coffee shops and baseball games without worrying about mortgage payments or HOA fees or whether someone else was texting their ex-boyfriend while I was pouring concrete. The apartment was smaller than the house in Phoenix, but it was mine. Every stick of furniture, every dish in the cabinet, every decision about what went where belonged entirely to me. No compromises, no discussions about whether the couch should go here or there, no pretending to care about throw pillows that cost more than my work boots. Some nights I'd stand on my balcony and look out over the city lights, thinking about all the people down there living their own versions of the story I'd just finished writing. How many of them were going through the motions, settling for feeling half alive because it was easier than admitting they wanted more? How many were afraid to walk away from comfortable misery because the unknown felt too risky? I'd gotten a postcard from Brooke about 6 weeks after I'd settled in Denver. A picture of some resort in Sedona, her and Preston smiling at the camera with red rocks in the background. The back just said, "Hope you're doing well," in her familiar handwriting. I'd studied that photo for a while, looking for signs of the aliveness she'd talked about, the electricity that made routine love feel like settling. They looked happy enough. Preston's arm around her shoulders, both of them tan and relaxed, the kind of couple that looks good in vacation photos. But there was something in Brooke's eyes that seemed familiar, a distance that had nothing to do with the camera angle. Maybe I was projecting. Maybe I was seeing what I wanted to see. Or maybe feeling alive was more complicated than she'd thought it would be. I never sent anything back. Not because I was angry, but because we were both building different lives now. And those lives didn't include weekly updates about how things were going. She'd made her choice. I'd made mine. The math had worked out exactly like I'd calculated it would. The difference was that my calculations had included variables she'd never bothered to consider. The cost of starting over, the value of building something yourself instead of waiting for someone else to make you feel complete, the satisfaction that comes from knowing you can walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. She'd wanted to feel alive. I'd wanted to feel respected. Turned out we were both right about what we needed, and both wrong about where we'd find it. The smartest thing I ever did was stop trying to be enough for someone who'd already decided I wasn't, and start building a life where being myself was more than sufficient. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's just refusing to accept less than what you're worth, and trusting that the right foundation will support whatever you're strong enough to build on it.